Hello, here's Armin from FLYSURFER. Today I'm proud to give you some more information about the Sonic 3, about all the details that is in getting into this product. So what was the goal of the Sonic 3? Maybe you know we've got the Sonic VMG for competitions, for hydrofoil racing, and we've got the Soul, great foil kite for everybody. Even if you come from inflatables, it's easy to use. And between these two products, now we want to place the Sonic 3 to get even more hang time. The Soul already had the European record for high jump from Ollie Bridge. So we tried to beat this with the Sonic 3, that it jumps even higher and get for sure also even more hang time. So it's great for old school. Everybody who would love to do old school tricks was doing it with the Sonic 2 already, and some of them jumped to the Soul, and now the Sonic 3 is even better, so it's really great. Also for Airstyle, if you want to do this, it's also a great opportunity. Also about Lightwind, the Sonic 3 is also great for Lightwind, but we have other kites which are also good for Lightwind. If you look, for example, the VMG, for sure in competition, you must be able to get going in 4 or 5 knots to be able to win a competition. And the peak is also flying in almost nothing because it's a single skin, so there's no bottom skin, so it's super light. But the Sonic 3 is a bit different. For sure it's more heavy than a peak, but the lift to drag ratio is a lot more, so it stays further up in the wind window. That means the pull that is pushing usually the kite backwards from the weight is less because it stays further up. If the kite is parking further lower in the wind window, then the weight will push it even more into the power zone. So if the kite has a better lift to drag ratio, it's even better for Lightwind. The next goal was also for the Sonic 3 that it's more easy to use. If you maybe know the Sonic 2 and Sonic R, it was not that easy to launch. Some people thought their kite is wrong, but no, it's not easy to fold, to open up the wingtips. So this was quite special at the Sonic. We don't recommend to pull the trimmer strap when you launch at higher wind, because for sure you have less pull, but the ears maybe don't open that easy. So we recommend to let the trimmer open, that you can pull the back lines to get tension to it, to increase the angle of attack, and the wingtips can get out again. But now we get rid of this problem, so it's very easy with the Sonic 3 to launch it. It's still not a beginner kite, but at this point, even for export, before it was sometimes really a difficult point, and now this is quite easy. Yeah, in the development we had 3 different approaches. We was taking a Sonic 2 and adding more performance to it with more cells, more aspect ratio, or whatever we had in mind to get the airfoil better. And we was taking a Soul and trying to modify the Soul with high aspect ratio, more cells again, and to get to the level like we are at the moment, because the Soul is already very good with opening the ears. It also worked out, but when we took the VMG and making a Sonic 3 out of it, so we was making it more rounded for better turning and reducing the aspect ratio and the amount of cells and everything. So we noticed the performance is outstanding, better than all the other concepts, and was very good to use already. So it was very fast clear that that's the right way to go, and we were pushing this concept then to the final Sonic 3, and it worked out very good. And we're very happy that we had 3 different approaches where we could go and try to put everything, the knowledge from all the different products together into the final Sonic 3. Yeah, we also tested it on different conditions, on snow for sure, on water, what the most people are using, and with the hydrofoil and with the twin tip, and also on land. So everything that you can use it and want to use it. So everything was tested. And we also had one heavy guy, Dennis, who was using it with 165 kilograms, something like this, and he was looking if it survives him. So always a compromise between durability and lightness of the kite. It flies almost no wind, and that it's very durable. So for sure the Soul is a bit more durable than the Sonic 3, but the Sonic 3 is already very good. We're very happy about it. But for sure, if you've got more than 120 kilograms, we recommend be careful with your gear, because you can kill everything if you want to. The goal also of the Sonic 3 was to have no compromise. So we was not taking care about how much material we are using, how much parts we have. I mean, the Soul has to be more affordable, which is already quite pricey. Maybe can show you here inside the cut files how much pieces you have to put together, and it's still not everything because there's a lot of sticky tape that you put at special places on top. For example, this PMA that is not added to the cut files which come in the workbook on top. So there's a lot more inside that you see already, this amount of pieces that you have got in the AutoCAD files. So it's quite complex. But yeah, I mean, look for an iPhone, it looks super simple, but if you look inside, there's also a lot of knowledge and R&D inside to make a product that is very simple, yeah, and easy to use, but the knowledge behind is a bit more. Let's get to the features. For the Sonic 3, we have, for example, one feature that we already had with the Sonic 2, that you could propeller the kite, a kind of flat spin. If you pull one back line, then the kite will flip on its own axis and turn very hard and very fast, like a propeller. So with the Soul we try to avoid it, because if you're used to inflatables and if you steer too hard and overshoot it at one side, it should still turn but not start to propeller. But the Sonic 3, a lot of people loved it with the Sonic 2 and Sonic VR, because for example you ride towards a wave or something, for sure it's not made for wave riding, but if you pull one brake line you can flip it around and it turns to the other direction, which is a lot of fun if you used it. So the Sonic 3 is really for pure foil enthusiasts. If you love foil kites, love how they fly, and you want to have this special feature like for example this propellering, then you should look for the Sonic 3. If you just like normal flying behavior like you have on the inflatables, stick with the Soul, which is more easy. We also added the long mixer test. The long mixer test is for sustainability, that the kite lasts longer. If kite ages, for sure the lines can extend and shrink, mainly they shrink. And to get rid of this problem, we have a feature called long mixer test that you can measure even from the bar up all to the canopy and look that all the lines have same length, and it's very good to adjust it. And even the 2-year-old kite, even if I come to a kite school or something and they've been using it for 2 years and they say, oh, it doesn't fly like new, I said yes, but I can go there and just check, and in 2 minutes I have to trim the kite back to almost perfect conditions again. This is a really outstanding, great tool. I mean, imagine you have a kite after 2 years and you can bring it back to almost flying like a new kite. This is really outstanding, and that's our approach. It also lasts long, the products, and you don't have to throw it away, even if you sell it maybe after 1 or 2 years. The next customers, they can bring it flying perfectly again. It's a really nice thing. We also used the X-Lite fabric that we used with the Soul already, and it was coming from the Lotus fabric that we had before. It was lasting very long already. But you could not print it. Now with the X-Lite you can print it on one side, and the other side is this Lotus material, silicone material, the other side is PU. So we've got the double coating, the best of both worlds, because the silicone coating, if you have it on both sides, it's a bit too flexible, the fabric, and the kite doesn't feel that stiff and that direct. So the performance was the same, but it doesn't feel that performance. So if it's more stiff, yeah, it's more direct, which is also a nice feeling. So we've got this X-Lite, and at the leading edge we still have the Deluxe fabric. We compared also with X-Lite fabric, but overall with the Deluxe fabric it was a bit better. Also it's a bit more thick. If you bring down your kite with the leading edge first on the ground, and you're happy to have a bit more thick fabric, that it don't get damaged too easy. So this is also that it lasts longer. So we have this combination of the different fabrics. For sure inside of the kite there's a lot of different fabrics, whatever you need. For the ribs it has to be stiff into 45 degrees, for example. For the straps inside, they should not stretch and extend if you have a lot of load there. For example, when I was testing with Dennis, it's quite heavy, and that the kite will not get out of shape, so still fly like a new kite even if you fly it for years. What we also have, yeah, the little ribs at the trailing edge. If you look for the trailing edge, we've got this extra ribs between the normal rib. We double the amount of ribs there, and the trailing edge is sharp like a knife, which gives some extra performance, which is also really nice. And also for the steering, it feels a little bit different with the little ribs. For sure it's a lot more effort you have to put into it, but it's worth of this kite. Yeah, we also have the rigid foils rods inside of the kite, and they're super flexible. You don't have to take care about it. But for example, at the leading edge, at the sole, we push it a little bit away from the leading edge. If someone is smacking the kite down on ground, if it's maybe a bit rocky, and relaunch with one line, that it doesn't always kill directly the leading edge, so we pushed it at the sole a bit away, but the performance is a bit better if the stiff rigid foil is directly at the nose. So at the Sonic we put it directly to the nose again. So far we had no problems with the sole, so just a tiny difference also to get more performance for it, that it jumps even better. We also added the PMA's Profile Momentum Adjuster. It's a very powerful tool that you can trim your kite to, even if it's very old or aged or whatever, you can really trim it very perfectly. But first make the long mixer test that everything is correct, and after you did the long mixer test, then you can go for the PMA. And if the kite is still too unstable, and if you check that all the straps inside, nothing is broken and everything else is perfect, then you can still adjust it with the PMA to bring it perfect. But this you should usually not do yourself. If you have got a shop who's can repair it and maintenance it and fix it back, so it's quite easy. If you have a lot of skills with foil kites, for sure you'll have to play a bit with it if it's not flying like it should maybe, but always check first the long mixer text, check that there's nothing broken with the canopy, and then you can start playing with the PMA. But don't do too much at the beginning. We make a special manual how to do it. Usually you don't have to touch it, but maybe the kite is older, after some years there's an additional option, which is good. We also have, for sure, like always, our automatic draining system. We always optimize it to stay ahead of the competition. So if you get water inside, it can drain out very easy at the trailing edge, and you can, even if you put someone putting 50 kilograms of water inside the kite, you can bring up the kite, you have a bit the skills, and you can drain out the water to the wingtip, and then let's slowly get the water out again. So even there's water inside, you can bring it out again, which is very important. Even if you have to swim for half an hour, the wind is dropping or something, usually there's no water inside, you don't pull at the lines, but if you pull too much at the lines and pump something in, you can bring it out again. I mean, the Sonic 3 is less optimized than the Soul for wrong acting on the kite, so it's more easy to get water in, but it still had the draining system, and yeah, to get it out. Yeah, what is also quite funny about the Sonic 3, the Sonic 3 also relaunched by pulling just one line, which also is a nice thing. But usually if you have Lightwind, we recommend always to take both back lines, you fly it up. As soon as it is high enough, you release one line, the other line you still keep a bit of tension that it turns around, and then release both lines and it goes up again. So it's quite easy, and even relaunching with one line is working. This is mainly only important if the wind is a bit stronger. You want to fly a bit more to the edge of the wind window to not get pulled too much. So even this works. We don't recommend it on hard fields or something, on rocks, because you could damage your kite if you just fly it with a leading edge down over the ground, for sure. About the wind range, I made a special video about, because we changed a bit the wind range to make it a bit safer on our homepage, because good kiters, they don't read the wind range. They know at which wind they can use which kite, and here it's the same like you was using a Sonic 2 before. The wind range slightly increased a bit for the low end because there's more performance. It's even lighter, so we can use it less wind, and I personally can also use it a bit more in the high end, but we don't recommend the beginning to just use where the end of the wind range is. For sure, the lower wind range you can always try and play with it, but at the upper wind range, don't use it at the beginning. Get used to the kite, know how it flies, and then when you feel confident, and you slowly increase the top end, but don't do it at the beginning. Stay safe and fly safe. We also have a lot of test reports. You find them at our homepage. They're all the test reports that we find. We collect them and you can read them, but you can also use Google and get for the feedback. And so far we're very happy, because we get a very good feedback, and that's the most important point. Happy customers is what we need and what we love to do, and I'm very proud about this product and my team. Benny Burley was doing here now the main development and was leading the project, and I was to say he was really doing a very good job, and I really love this kite. This is now my favorite kite. Before it was the Soul 9, I really love this kite, but this is more aggressive, and I love it. I can jump even a bit higher with it and even more performant. And by the way, this spot here, it's in Kelsterbach, Germany, the mine, and I was kiting here already in hydrofoiling. When I just started to begin hydrofoil, I was kiting here, and now I've got a bar here. So they closed this location for kiting a bit, I would say. But at the moment, due to Corona, it's closed. And yeah, stay healthy, and thank you for looking for my video, and I hope you enjoy our products. Thank you.